What are the best quad stretches for knee pain? I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video, I'm going to explain 7 different quad stretches that you can use for knee pain, the advantages and disadvantages of each one, how to know which ones will work best for you, and at the end of the video, I'll give my overall pick for the best quad stretch for knee pain. Now, if you find this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel. We help people to stay active, mobile, and healthy without relying on pain medications, injections, or surgeries. Now, your quadriceps are the muscles in the front of your thigh. Quadriceps literally means 4 heads. So you have 4 different muscles that attach into the quadriceps tendon, and your kneecap is contained inside that quadriceps tendon. The quadriceps function is to extend your knee out like that, or functionally to help you squat or go up and down stairs. So your quadriceps are really important to the function of your knee. Now, when you're stretching your quadriceps, there's something important you should know about the 4 different heads of the quadriceps. You've got the vastus medialis on the inside or medial side, the vastus lateralis on the outside, the vastus intermedius kind of deep inside your thigh, and over top of that, there's the rectus femoris. Now, the rectus femoris is different from the other 3 quadricep heads because the rectus femoris crosses both the knee as well as the hip. And so it makes its function a hip flexor as well as a knee extensor, whereas the other 3 quad muscles, they're just knee extensors. They just straighten the knee. So you stretch them a little bit differently. To stretch the knee extensors, you want to bend or flex your knee. To stretch the rectus femoris, you need to both bend the knee as well as extend the hip at the same time. So what are the different quad stretches that you can do? Well, let's start out with the one that probably everyone knows. Everyone has probably done this at some point in gym class, in sports. At some point in their life, everyone has probably seen this quad stretch where you pull your heel up towards your butt. And there are some good advantages of that. You're both extending your hip as well as flexing your knee. And so you stretch the vastus muscles by bending your knees, as well as your rectus femoris by extending your hip. But you'll notice a few things here. To get my knee all the way back and my heel all the way to my butt, you'll see my back's extended. Now, that's not great if you have a concurrent back problem. It's also just not great in general because once you get to the end range of your quadriceps, you're no longer really stretching the quadriceps past here. Furthermore, if you start with your leg back here and then try to grab your heel, a lot of times you have to kind of contort your body to actually be able to grab it, and then you can't bend your knee all the way. So really, this is just a rectus femoris stretch at this point. To stretch the vastus muscles, you really have to bend the knee all the way. And so one tip to use if you want to use this quadricep stretch is to bend the knee first and then start to pull the hip back into extension. And you may not get all the way to extension. I have a really tight rectus femoris, so I can't even get all the way down this way. So you start with the knee bent and then pull back into hip extension just till you feel a stretch in the front of the thigh or in the quadriceps. So that's the first stretch. And again, that's probably the most common stretch that people know for their quadriceps. It's not necessarily my favorite one, but that's the one everyone thinks of. So I wanted to cover that one first. Now, the next 2 are just really versions of that first one. So the next one is laying on your belly and bending your knee up like this. Now you'll notice here, one, my back's kind of arched, and for some people, they have trouble laying on their belly anyway. If you have tight hip flexors, you may even need to put a pillow underneath your hips like that to allow your back to stay in more of a neutral position. Then you can try to grab your leg, but again, you get the back extension there. So it can be helpful to use a strap. You can use just a towel or something, or a dog leash works really well. This is a strap made specifically for stretching. So I'm going to put it around my ankle here, grab the loops, lay down, and pull up this way. So now you've got hip extension and you're bending your knee at the same time. pillow under the abdomen to keep the spine in a neutral position. And so that's another stretch. Just for the logistics of getting it all set up and laying on your belly, it's also not my favorite, but you get a decent stretch there. Now, using this same strap, you can do the same stretch laying on your side. And I think this works a lot better logistically getting it set up. For some people, you don't need a strap to do this. You can just grab a little bit easier here. And just like with the standing stretch, you keep your spine in a neutral position, start with the knee bend first, and then move back into hip extension. And so I think this is a much better version for most people than laying on their belly. It also allows you to keep your spine in a neutral position a little bit better than when you're standing up. So this is a pretty good stretch for your quads. So what are the next variations? Well, I mentioned to really stretch the vastus muscles, the vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, and vastus intermedius, you need to bend your knee all the way. And a lot of people really don't think of this as a quad stretch. But if you're trying to stretch those muscles to get an increased range of motion in your knee bending, then just sitting and pulling your knee all the way into knee bend like this is a good stretch for those 3 quadricep muscles. Now, because your hip is really bent or flexed here, it doesn't stretch the rectus femoris. But if your goal is to stretch the vastus muscles and to get more knee bending, then this is a really good stretch for that. So that's stretch number 4. Another way that you can stretch those muscles is coming onto all fours and just rocking back towards your heels. Now, if you have trouble kneeling, you can do this on a bed, you can do it on a mat, you can put a pillow underneath your knees if you're kneeling on the floor, or if you've got a whole lot of pain kneeling, this just may not be the best stretch for you. But this gets you to an end range quadricep stretch in your vastus muscles. Again, it's not good for the rectus femoris as far as stretching it. Another advantage of this is a lot of people with knee pain, they actually have stiffness in their hips. And so here you both get a stretch of your quadricep muscles, get an increased range of motion in your knee bending, and you stretch out your hip muscles. So I think this is a really good stretch for people with knee pain, if not necessarily to stretch their quads, for the purpose of stretching their hips, which is, again, a big factor in a lot of people with knee pain. So the next version, building on this, what if you do want to stretch your rectus femoris? Well, you can come up into a kneel like this and then just lean backwards. Now, some people who are really flexible and do yoga, they can lean all the way back and lay completely flat. I'm not going to get anywhere close to there. But you just go to the point that you feel comfortable and then hold that. You can use yoga blocks or other things to help support you as needed. And just lean back as far as you feel comfortable going. So the last stretch is a standing stretch where you put one leg on a chair or a piece of furniture. I'll show it from both sides like that so you can see the leg better. You put a leg on a chair or a piece of furniture like that. Then you just go down into a partial lunge. So there you get the knee bend first, and then you drop down to go into hip extension. And so you stretch both the rectus femoris muscle as well as the vastus muscles. So those were the 7 stretches for your quadriceps to help if you have knee pain. Now, what are my favorite ones? Overall, I think the side lying one gives you the most control. It's the least aggressive one because it allows you to control the position of your spine. It's also good if you can't kneel on your knees. So for that reason, that's my overall top pick. Now that last one I showed, if you are a little bit more active and you're able to get in a position like this, I think this is also a really good stretch as well. So those are my 2 favorite stretches for your quadriceps if you happen to have knee pain. Now, if you are dealing with knee pain and you're in the St. Louis area, we'd be happy to help you out here at More for Life. Just contact us through our website or give us a call and we'll get you scheduled for an appointment. Now, if you're watching this video from somewhere else, but you found it helpful to learn some stretches to help stretch your quadriceps and help you with your knee pain, then give the video a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day.